What's up, you rat bastards? This is the Word on the Street podcast bringing you the latest and most ridiculous UFC rumors and news. In case you missed our last episode, podcast number 13, I've had a ton of people asking me how I knew about champion Jose Aldo's broken foot a week before it was announced. And this podcast was the first to report it, but I don't get why anyone is acting surprised that I had the info. I'm trying to tell you people that the name of the show says it all. Some of this shit, literally, it actually does come from the streets, man. I've got spies in everybody's fight camp and deep contacts in the UFC, just fans of the show hitting me up on Twitter just when they want to leak some info. You know, when they can't go to the press and they don't trust Ariel Hawaii, they come to me, and I make sure it gets out there the right way. But the thing is, if I were to just sit here like a phony and just repeat info like I was John Jones reading from a fucking UFC script or a script from one of the sponsors, it just wouldn't be fun. And I didn't spend the past hours smoking all this weed for nothing. So let's keep it real, but let's keep it preposterous, all right? And while I can't reveal my sources, I will just say that in the case of Jose Aldo, a Brazilian female fan of the show actually managed to capture his motorcycle accident on video, and I was the only person she sent the footage to. Check it out. Woof. So, after having the footage analyzed and x-rayed by some of my guys, it was pretty damn obvious that Aldo had fucked up his foot in the crash, so I went with it and reported the news. Special thanks to the Rio hooker who sent me the video. I know she's watching the show right now. And with that being said, let's get right into the UFC rumor rundown. Because I've got some serious dope on the Anderson Silva versus Stephan Bonnar fight. I've got more updates on aliens and UFOs in the UFC. And of course, I've got the straight dope on what our hero and champion Chael Sonnen is up to lately. So if you've got some crack laying around, it's time to pop a rock in that stem and beam up. You know what I'm saying? Hit it, Uncle Joey. Word on the street is that Stephan Bonnar has been depressed and on the ropes for years, ever since he realized he was no good at doing UFC. So he was literally about to throw himself off a fucking bridge and end his own life when he had a better idea, and he called Dana White asking for the fight with Anderson Silva. He's still hell-bent on killing himself, but this is going to be suicide by Silva, you follow? But Bonnar plans to throw a few of his trademark lumbering slow punches, maybe telegraph a few kicks, email some jabs. It's gonna look like the Spider is fighting a guy who's moving in slow motion. We should expect a couple of rounds of sparring before Dana White gives the signal, and Anderson Silva executes a Mortal Kombat style fatality on poor Stephan Bonnar. That's right. There's going to be a kill bonus at UFC 153, and Stephan Bonnar will be the sacrificial lamb. This is the first time that Anderson's ever killed a man, so he put up a little resistance to the idea until Uncle Dana dangled him over a damn balcony and threatened to drop his ass from the UFC and life itself. Dana said, "Look, you fucking guy, you may be the best fighter in the world, but if you don't murder Bonnar in the ring, I'm going to make sure you go back to Brazil broke and penniless. No more fur coats for you, Anderson." So Silva's hands are tied, and the people of Brazil, they're going to have their thirst for blood quenched. And they don't give a damn that Bonnar is actually a pretty nice guy. I mean, hell, most of the Brazilians, they won't even be able to tell the difference, and they're going to think he's Chael Sonnen. They don't give no fuck, and they're probably going to crowd surf Stephan Bonnar's dead body all over the stadium. It's going to look worse than those crazy religious zealots over there in the Middle East, the ones that are getting mad about cartoons and YouTube videos or whatever, trailers. That ain't going to be shit compared to what's going to be going down in Rio. And Dana White, he's going to be happier than a pig in shit, loving every minute of the chaos. God bless him. I've got an update on the alien shapeshifters posing as fighters in the UFC. But it's good news this time. According to a broke-ass former champion named Frye, we have a goddamn American hero on our side fighting these reptilians. And that hero's name is Dan Henderson. Here's an interview where Frye reveals that Dan Henderson is an asshole. But more importantly, he exposes the fact that Hendo likes to spend his free time hunting aliens in the middle of war zones. You won't believe this shit.
For those guys more?
No, I think Dan Henderson is an asshole. Yeah.
Why is that?
I went on a UFO tour with him over to Afghanistan back in 07, and I found him to be a complete asshole.
Interesting. No, something that.
A UFO tour in Afghanistan? Needless to say, I wanted to learn more about what Hendo was doing, but even my sources can't even touch the story. I don't want to mess with it. This shit between Hendo and the aliens, it apparently goes deep, and I'm not going to fuck with it, all right? There's some things that the word on the street just won't touch, all right? We keep it to the streets, all right? We're not into this interplanetary shit that much. I'll bring you what I can, but this is fucked up. Finally, we've got the latest updates on our hero and champion, Chael Sonnen. And since we're huge fans and believers of the man, we're starting a new segment on the podcast to cover all future news when it comes to the American gangster. Ladies and gentlemen, strap in because it's time for the Danger Waffles Report. Kick it! The Danger Waffles Report, the Danger Waffles Report, the Danger Waffles Report, the Danger... Believe it or not, but the People's Champion is so fucking tough now, he started training for fights that aren't even happening. This guy, he could have easily taken a vacation for the rest of the year and just spent some of that UFC 148 and Exorcist money, but instead, Chael Sonnen gave away all of his money to local charities and little homeless kids. Even the black ones. You hear me, John Jones? With the fucking racist shit. Anyway, the American gangsters, he's given away all of his possessions, too. The only thing he kept is a phone book so he could keep calling people out. My sources deep in Chael's camp are telling me the guy is ready to be on call at a moment's notice for a title shot. Just on the off chance that Vitor Belfort gets injured and has to pull out of the fight with John Jones. Sonnen's boxing and striking coach, the legendary Jamie Huey, he even gave me a direct quote on what's going on in Chael's camp. I asked him straight up if he knew something that we didn't, and he replied saying that the only time I would ever root against Forrest Griffin would be against Chael Sonnen, and I might not have to. Hell, I hate to blow up Chael's spot, but another one of his coaches got drunk and admitted that Sonnen had even gone as far as to hire 2 goons to rough Vitor up and break his legs, making it look like a street mugging. Except the damn fools he hired got it all mixed up, and they tried to mug Renzo Gracie instead. And I'm sure you all know what happened next. So it looks like Vito is safe for now, but it's a dangerous world out there, and accidents happen. And you never know what tomorrow will bring. Hopefully it brings us a new champion. The damn People's Champion. That does it for this episode of the Word on the Street podcast. But follow the Aunt Jimmy Show on Twitter, subscribe on YouTube, and go to WOTSpodcast.com, WOTS podcast.com. I'm not trying to sell anything or make any money. I just want you guys to know when the next episode comes out. And that's how you do it. WOTSpodcast.com. Thanks.